In this video, we're going to look at rationalizing the denominator. And essentially what that means is, we've not used this word irrational yet, but that square root of b is an irrational, or is likely to be an irrational number. So when we're talking about rationalizing the denominator, what we're saying is we want to get rid of that square root from my denominator. So I want to be able to write this where the number that's underneath my fraction doesn't have a square root. That's what we're trying to do just now. Now, to do this, we apply a little trick. Now, if I was, or let me take through a couple examples. If I have 5 over 5, that's 5 divided by 5, that's 1. If I have 7 over 7, that's also 1. If I have a over a, that's also 1. If I have root 5 over root 5, that's also 1. So as long as the top and bottom are the same thing, I'm always getting 1. Now, what I can say here is, well, I'm going to times that by root 2 over root 2. Now, whilst it may look like I'm changing it, all I'm doing there is I'm timesing that by 1. Now, if you're timesing something by 1, you're never changing it. So whilst it looks like I might be changing it and it will change the appearance of it, I'm not actually changing the number at all because I'm multiplying it by 1. So when you're multiplying fractions, times the top values together, so the numerator, so 1 times root 2 is going to be root 2, and root 2 times root 2 will be root 4. So it'll be root 2, and the square root of 4 is 2. And now I've written the same thing. I've not changed it. I've just told them times by 1, and I've just changed the way it looks. But I've gotten rid of that square root on the bottom. Now, how did I know to times it by root 2? Well, you're timesing it by whatever that denominator is, and only the square root part of that denominator. So, can you try the one on the right-hand side? So, pause it, take as long as you need. Root 5 over root 5. So, top times top will be root 5 all over the square root of 25. So that's going to get me root 5 all over 5. Now, where they might make this a little bit trickier is they'll start putting values around it. So I'll give myself a bit more space. Let's take a look at the first one. So here, I'm going to times top and bottom. Now, we ignore the 2 that's there. I only times it by the square root. So root 7 over root 7. So top times top will be 3 root 7 all over. And 2, now the square root parts are going to multiply each other. So that's 2 root 49. So that's going to simplify to 3 root 7 all over 2 times, and the square root of 49 is 7. So that'll be 3 root 7 all over 14. Now check to see if you can simplify. Always check to see that you can simplify fractions. 3 and 14 are not, or don't share a common factor, so I cannot simplify it. But always make sure that you're checking. Again, 1 on the right hand side for you to try, then press play to see how you get on. So times by root 6 over root 6, so that's going to be 5 root 6 all over 3 root 36. So I will have 5 root 6 all over 3 times 6, which will be 5 root 6 all over 18. And again, 5 and 18, I'm looking to see if I can simplify it. I can't, so that is it fully simplified. Again, you should be looking to see if your surds simplify as well. Okay, so checking to see, does root 7 simplify? Does the square root of 6 simplify? But the only squared number, okay, remember I'm looking for the highest squared factor, which would be 1 in this case, so that's not going to simplify it at all. Some for you to try. Again, they're varying here, so the slightly easier ones are at the top. Again, some of the trickier ones are at the bottom. Perfect, I can get onto one screen. And just as always, important that you are marking any of the work that you've done to check your understanding. So there's the answers. So again, please make sure that you're taking the time to mark these questions.